Hey, fire starters! What's going on? It's your girl Lex here, talking to you today about things oft misunderstood. Way too often I hear mentioned that the core is equivalent to the abdominals, the abs, the six-pack. But few people, including trainers, understand that the core is not only the foundation of stability, but also a functional system that reaches well beyond the torso. It might come as a surprise to you that while the abdominal wall contributes to postural stability and function, it is not part of the anatomical core. Think of your core as an apple. That's the best way I could put it. An apple core. You eat around the apple, and when you get to the core, what does it look like? It's a whole line that is a solid stem. And in the body, in the human body, what that looks like is it looks like a system of muscles, interconnected fascia that centers around the spine. The word core seems to be interchangeably used with the word abs and has been used for quite a long time in gym jargon. In my opinion, it's a marketing tactic because, let's be honest, core sounds cooler than abs, apparently. Well, enough with the fun. It is much more efficient to think of the core as a functional unit that provides overall stability. Not sexy, I know, but produces sexy six-pack ab results. Beyond the notion of stability, the deep core, or as Thomas Myers, the author of Anatomy Trains, calls it, a really good book, by the way, the deep core is the deep front line. It is a life-sustaining system of muscles and fascia that is always on, even when you are asleep, even when you are asleep. This dynamic nature of the deep core, this ability to be, at least to some degree, activated all the time, stems from the body's most elemental function, breathing. In other words, breathing is the primary rhythmic movement of the body and the foundation for coordination and stability. The breath runs automatically at a certain rhythm, without our effort. Every breath moves the visceral organs and surrounding musculature, causing shape change. If the breath is sporadically irregular due to nervous system dysregulation or fear or a health condition, then the rhythm is lost. The shape change is random and unpredictable, and thus coordination and stability also go down. So you see, core stability and strength start with the breath. Yes. According to an awesome dude named Leslie Kaminoff, founder of the Breathing Project and co-author of Yoga Anatomy, breathing is shape change. The breath, whether voluntary or involuntary, is a constant negotiation between the lumbar and the thoracic portions of the torso, aka, he calls it the air balloon and the water balloon. Constant shape change in both regions is necessary for breathing. Because the breath is intricately linked with our central nervous system, as it is under its command, voluntary control of the breath, which is called pranayama, for all you yogis out there, or for people who speak Sanskrit, this voluntary controlling, or rather regulating of your breath's rhythm, really, back to a calm, predictable default, deliberately tones the muscles of the breath, the breathing muscles, literally the breathing muscles, which are part of the deep core. All these muscles are being developed when you regulate your breathing in such a way that you can best manage the task your body is engaged in at the moment. in every moment, in every task you find yourself in. The breath provides a feedback mechanism for the brain. If there's a mismatch between your activity and your breath patterning, your core is literally compromised. Deadlifters, you know. The good thing is that breath patterning, thus fundamental core conditioning, can be trained to the point where the appropriate breath patterns become activated automatically upon task trigger. When you're lifting a heavy ass weight, you know the breath pattern because you pre-installed it. When you're freaking out, you can instantly intercept to calm yourself before shit hits the fan because you pre-installed the calming breath pattern. Oh yes, you did. And when you need to recover fast, and I mean fast, between sprints in sport or between your, let's say, I don't know, 4th and 5th sets of drop sets on the leg press, then hey, you pre-installed the hyper recovery pattern too. You, my friend, are a champion. This physiological and neurological adaptability fosters mental resilience too, don't you know? The sheer skill of being adaptable engages the body's stabilizing mechanisms, assisting the core in its duties. I know you came here for six-pack abs, but please take the hint by the length of my lecture just how important the breathing muscles are, okay? The diaphragm that separates the airy lungs from the watery abdominal region is the engine of shape change. The diaphragm is the engine of shape change. Remember that. The diaphragm, a horizontally oriented muscle, contracts and releases to drive the shape change in the rib cage and the abdomen alike. It is also a postural regulator and stabilizer. Can't emphasize the stability thing enough. It's really important, it seems, isn't it? Why don't you try standing up, let your gut hang out, and see how good your posture is then, my brother? My point exactly. We can conclude then that the breath offers spinal support, fosters movement efficacy, and it coordinates the dynamics between the trunk and the limbs. Oh, but the core construction has only begun. I get so passionate. This is going to sound really weird, but would it surprise you if I told you that you have 4 legs? It's kind of weird. 2 of them are obviously your actual legs, and 2 of them extend up from your legs deep in the body and attach to your spine. These are called the iliopsoas structure together, the iliopsoas structure. Uh-oh, this may be getting into geek territory now. The psoas muscles connect to the lumbar and thoracic spine and also form a unit within the diaphragm. Therefore, they are intricately connected to the breathing muscles. Just notice, take notice, how your breathing adapts. It adapts to your leg movement as you walk. Actually, go trick your friends. It might also come as a surprise that the arches of the feet are shaped like the diaphragm. It's no coincidence, and it isn't just its shape either that's like the diaphragm. The plantar fascia is the functional base of the deep core line, which provides postural integrity as the line continues up the myofascial chain through the lower legs, the inner thighs, to the pelvic floor, and the abdominopelvic cavity, it's called, all the way to the diaphragm and the chest, the neck, and the head. Dudes, I'm trying to say this without even going into too much anatomical detail, and I can already hear it sounds intricate. But y'all smart people here, fire starters. So, what about training? It's annoying. It's annoying to train things you can't see. So, how do you train them? When we speak about training the deep front line, we are not talking about strengthening a single muscle or tightening the abdomen. We are talking about educating a system that breathes, supports, adapts, and transfers force through the entire body. Training this line, this deep core line, this deep front line, means restoring the natural coordination between the diaphragm, pelvic floor, psoas, spine, and feet. Yes, all of these, as they work together, as part of the deep core, so that stability is no longer something we force, but something that emerges from within. Ah, so nice. I told you I love poetry. When the deep front line is functioning well, breathing supports posture, posture supports movement, movement becomes efficient and sustainable, and you become strong. In this sense, training the deep core is not only about performance or injury prevention, no. It's about maintaining the body's most fundamental support system, the one that keeps us upright, moving, and breathing throughout our entire lives. And without those, my friends, you can kiss your gains goodbye. Bye.